Lawyers made their final pitch in the Roger Clemens perjury trial. Now the case is in the hands of a jury. We've got Devlin Barrett in Washington to talk a little bit about this with us. Devlin, first off, I want to bring up on screen a quick graphic that shows us, really catches us up on what's happened here. Of course, in 1998, Roger Clemens' trainer, Brian McNamee, allegedly injected, I mean, this is the allegation, right, that McNamee allegedly injected Clemens with steroids. February 2008, as Clemens denied that before the U.S. House committee, and then he was tried on perjury charges, but that was declared a mistrial then in July 2011. So now let's go to today. Devlin, I guess yesterday the lawyers made their final arguments, right? What did they say?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting back and forth because at many times the defense lawyers sounded like the prosecutors and the prosecutors sounded like defense lawyers, because the trial of Roger Clemens has really turned into an argument about his trainer, a guy named Brian McNamee. And basically the defense lawyers spent most of their time trying to convince the jury that if anyone should be convicted of perjury as a result of this, it's Brian McNamee, not Roger Clemens. And the prosecution spent most of their time trying to rehabilitate Brian McNamee.
If you now, when do we get a verdict, do you think? I mean, this is something that the jury now has it, they're deliberating, they just started yesterday?
Yeah, they did about 10 minutes worth of deliberations yesterday, so we don't assume anything significant happened there. They've got about 3.5 hours of deliberation time this afternoon, and then they're off Thursday and Friday. So the chances of us getting a verdict this week, I would say slim, but you know, you never know. I mean, these folks have been listening to this testimony for 2 months, so it's possible that they don't want to spend more than 2 hours, you know, thinking about it anymore. But most juries will take more than 3.5 hours or so to come back with a verdict. So assuming they can't get it done this afternoon, it's going to be next week at the earliest.
Now, one thing that was interesting in your story that's I found kind of fascinating is there's kind of a strange defense strategy here of painting Congress. If Congress was the victim, theoretically, if as the allegation, of course, is that Roger Clemens lied to Congress when he said he didn't use steroids, but Congress isn't exactly a sympathetic victim, I guess. But that seems an odd strategy, saying, well, he didn't do it, but I mean, is this their strategy, or are they just responding to the prosecution?
I think it is. I think it is a very real strategy on their part, and I think in some ways it's a very smart strategy. I mean, I think one of the things that Roger Clemens has in his favor right now is that people really don't think very much of Congress, and that doesn't really have anything to do with the specifics of Clemens' case. But at the end of the day, one of the things that a lot of trial lawyers will tell you is, in a criminal case, you need a victim, and you need a victim that is on some level sympathetic.
So is the idea then to kind of plant a seed that even if you think he might be guilty, well, he was talking to Congress and who cares? Is that the idea? Exactly.
I think that's exactly the message. It's being sent subtly, but I think that's exactly the message that is being sent to this jury, that Congress had no business going into this issue at all to begin with, and therefore we shouldn't even be here talking about this.
Got it. Devlin, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Call it for me.
I think I have seen few prosecution witnesses who've stumbled as badly as Brian McNamee. I would be personally very surprised if a jury convicts based on what Brian McNamee said.